Very good morning to all of you. So today is the revision of three topic. So the first topic would be the supply under GST. Very good morning, Gita. The first topic would be the supply under GST, and then we will move to the charge, and then we will move to the place of supply. As we know that all three are very important chapter. So we will divide equal time. So almost 1 hour 45 minutes, approx 45 to 1 hour. We will discuss each chapter. So if you talk about the supply, then the supply has been defined in inclusive manner. Always remember. Okay. What are the supply? Supply, all forms of the supply, and they have given some examples such as sale, transfer, barter, etc. Okay. So three important conditions. It should be the consideration. It should be in the course of furtherance of business, and it should be by a person. So I can say the consideration and the business are the two important terms, two important conditions. What would be the exception to the consideration? Schedule 1. So if the transaction is without consideration, then also it could be the supply if it is defined in Schedule 1 or if it is covered in the Schedule 1. And what would be the exception in the course or furtherance of business? What would be the exception in the course or furtherance of business? It would be import of service. And what is the exception to the consideration? When I am using the word exception, it means that even though there is no consideration, the transaction would be supply. And similarly, even though the transaction is not in the course or furtherance of business, then also it would be supply. Where it is written, we'll discuss. So now the activity or transaction. Now this is new clause inserted, activity or transaction by a person other than individual to its member for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration. Meaning thereby they are talking about club and membership would be the taxable transaction. They have not limited to the club. They are saying any type of the association by a person other than individual. So any type of the association, when they are doing the transaction with the member, it would come into the ambit of supply. Okay. Now import of service for a consideration. So it can be in the course of furtherance of business or it cannot be in the course of furtherance of business. Import of service would always be taxable. And the activity specified in the Schedule 1 without consideration. Now the 1A say that whatever the transaction which is a supply as per subsection 1, that is a supply of the goods or supply of the service will be decided by the Schedule 2. तो क्या Schedule 2 supply decide कर सकता है? Whether Schedule 2 can decide the supply? Answer is no. Schedule 2 can only bifurcate the supply. मतलब अगर वो transaction supply है, if the transaction is a supply, then will it be supply of the goods or will it be the supply of the service? You need to go to the Schedule 2. 7 subsection 2 says that notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, so it is overriding section. Now what it says, neither supply of the goods nor supply of the service. Schedule 3, and such activity or the transaction undertaken by the central government or state government in which they are engaged as a public authority. as may be notified by the government as per the recommendation of the council shall be treated as neither supply the goods nor supply the service. So there is certain notification issued in this particular regard. So like supply the alcoholic liquor. Alcoholic liquor is, we all know that it is not leviable, correct? As per levy section, that also we will discuss today. But alcoholic liquor license was chargeable to GST in the earlier days. But finally, they've issued the notification and given in this embed using the power of 7 subsection 2 clause B that it is now neither supply of the goods nor supply of service. Okay. 7 subsection 3, government on the recommendation of the council by notification the transaction that are to be treated as supply the goods, not supply service, or supply the service, not supply the goods. Now the analysis I am leaving. So whatever the important part is there, we will discuss. Now, if we talk about the definition of the money and security, so goods and services, I can say there are the two common items which are neither goods nor services. Remember my question. I'm asking the question कि list down the activity or the name of the transaction which are neither goods nor services. Then your answer would be money and security. And if I'm asking the question neither supply the goods nor supply the service, then your answer would be schedule 3. अगर मैं पूछूं कि ना तो गुड्स है ना सर्विस, तो क्या होगा? मनी और सिक्योरिटी. एंड अगर मैं पूछूं कि नाइदर सप्लाई द गुड्स नॉर सप्लाई द सर्विस, तो क्या होगा आंसर? शेड्यूल 3. इन दोनों में डिफरेंस है, रिमेंबर नॉलेज. ठीक है. नाउ let's talk about one circular. What is talking about? We are talking about the consideration. Consideration in form of the money or otherwise also. Otherwise means non-monetary is also the consideration. See, for example, if I'm giving something to you and you are giving something to me, this is also the consideration. And that is the reason the barter transaction are also treated as supply. Correct. So, you can refer the definition given above. Okay. So consideration, payment can be in the money or can be otherwise, and monetary value of any act or forbearance. It can be flow from recipient or by any other person. It means, suppose I'm teaching to you and you are student and I'm charging X amount and payment is being made by father. In that case also, I have received the money, whether from the actual recipient or from any other person. Like if you are the employee of the corporate and corporate sponsoring the training, then in that case payment is being made by the company. So it could be by any person. Deposit also to be considered as payment if deposit to be treated as consideration as payment when it applies, when the supplier applies this deposit as consideration. Matlab, suppose you have given the rupees 1 month rent, you have given the 1 month rent as security deposit and you have taken my premises. I am giving you the renting services and for which you are giving the monthly rent, but in start you have deposited 1 month security deposit. At the time of vacating the office, you are giving the notice period and you are saying कि जो मैंने security deposit दिया था, kindly adjust that security deposit against rent. So the security deposit will not be taxable at the time of when you have given to me. No, It will be when I am applying supplier. I am a supplier. I am applying against the rent or subsidies given by the government will not be included or will not be treated as consideration. ठीक है? This part is clear, right? So just 1 minute. Now, so there are various clarification. First clarification, donation received by the charitable institute from individual donor without quid pro quo. What do you understand by the quid pro quo? आप quid pro quo से क्या समझते हैं? Can you tell me what is the meaning of the quid pro quo?
Something in return of something.
Correct. So, like if I am giving the donation, I want the advertisement of my business. So, if I'm giving the donation, then I am expecting they should give me the advertisement, like my name should be displayed along with my organization name, along with what I'm doing. Then it is quid pro quo. But if I am giving the donation without any quid pro quo, see, whenever the donation is being given, the name of the donor would be mentioned. Correct. So, but I don't want any other quid pro quo. In that case, will it be taxable? The answer is no. When the name of the donor is displayed in the recipient institute premises in such a manner which can be said to be an expression of gratitude and public recognition of the donor act of the philanthropy and not at the publicity, it would be giving the advertisement to my business. In that case, it will not be treated as supply. Okay? This is the main part. Okay. So next, this is the circular 116. Artwork sent by the artist to the gallery for exhibition is not a supply, as no consideration flow from the gallery to the artist. Artists give their work of art to the galleries where it is exhibit for the supply. However, no consideration for flow from the gallery to the artist when the artwork are sent to the gallery for exhibition. Correct? It is only a buyer select a particular artwork displayed, then the actual supply take place. So it is first transaction is only the movement of goods. When it will be treated, जब कोई मेरा buyer purchase करेगा, it will be treated as supply. What is the schedule 2? Samyanathan and Geeta, anyone? What was the schedule 2?
Bifurcation of goods and services, whether it is goods or services.
So when you all are giving the exams in the May 26th.
Sir, actually given, sir. Second group given.
Yeah. Okay. So no claim bonus offered by the insurance company, will it be a supply or not? Answer is no, it will not be a supply. See, there is a master circular 178, which has been used multiple times, which has been used by the CBIC multiple times whenever they like to clarify with respect to actionable claim or something like that. Okay. So similarly, NCB, no claim bonus. You know that. Suppose if I have not taken the claim in this year, the next year premium would be reduced by the NCB, no claim bonus. Then will it be treated as supply from insured person to the insurance company? Or will it be treated as barter transaction, something like that? Then it says clarified that there is no supply provided by the insured to the insurance company, because if I have not taken the any claim It is not promise कि मैं आपसे claim नहीं लूंगा. I will not take any claim from you. No, it is not a promise or it is not a barter transaction. So therefore, they are saying it is not that agreeing to the obligation to refrain from the act of lodging insurance claim. It is not the case. And therefore, it is not rated as any supply. It has been clarified by Circular 186. ठीक है. Salvage value earmarked in the claim of assessment of the damage goes to the motor vehicle. ठीक है. So if there is any salvage value, it will be deducted. Correct. Deduct the value of the salvage as deductible from the claim amount to the insured. The salvage remain the property of the insured, and insurance company are not liable to discharge the GST on the same. Do not deduct the value of the salvage and pay the full amount. The salvage become the property of the insurance company, and the life insurance will be obligated to discharge the GST on the supply. So whenever this whatever the remaining balance is there of the asset, it will be sold, then it will be chargeable to GST. In the course of furtherance of business, it is clear. Always remember, for treating the transaction as business, there is no importance or there is no weightage to the volume, frequency, continuity, or regularity. Even if there is a single transaction, it will be taxable if it is in the course of furtherance of business. So I'm skipping the examples so I can cover almost entire chapter. Cost petroleum, product sharing contract. So let's read this. When an oil exploration, and so probably because this transaction is not normally known to you in the day-to-day business, so I'm reading the entire clarification. When oil exploration and production contractor get a license, lease to explore, mine the product crude or natural gases from the government, it enter into the production sharing contract with the government. The relationship of the contractor with the government is not that of the partner, but that of the licensor licensee. As per these PSC, when a contractor discover oil gas, he is at first entitlement to recover the contract cost involved in the extraction from the sale proceed, and thereafter he is expected to share with the government the profit from his venture known as profit petroleum. The value of petroleum, which the contractor is entitled to take in a year for recovery of the contract cost, is called the cost petroleum. Further, the total value of the petroleum produced and saved from the contract area in a particular period as reduced by the cost is called as profit petroleum. The government share of profit petroleum, which is the consideration paid by the contractor to the government for the service of the grant of the license or lease, is exempted from GST. The cost petroleum is not a consideration received by the contractor for the service provided to the government and thus not taxable. The reason for the same is that contractor carry exploration and production of petroleum for themselves and not as a service to the government. They had acquired the right to explore and sell the petroleum in lieu of the royalty and share a profit petroleum. Financial transaction. Just be active in the chat. My request to all the participants, be active in the chat and give the reply. You are not required to unmute at every point of time. To all the participants, I'm requesting, give me the answer quickly in the chat. So in between of the class, I will ask multiple questions. So by this, we would be active mentally as well, and you will be more attentive. What is the schedule one? Give me the answer in the chat. What is the schedule one? Give me the answer in the chat. So security lending scheme. The question which I'm asking is belongs to the another chapter. The question which I'm asking maybe belong to the another chapter. Is it forward charge or is it reverse charge? Is it forward charge or is it reverse charge? Or is it exempted from GST? Any idea? Any idea? Is it forward charge? Is it reverse charge? Or is it exempted from GST? Security lending scheme. Have you heard that? Correct, na? So there is a category of the reverse charge, security lending scheme. So that we will discuss in the charge of the GST chapter. But yes, it is covered in the reverse charge also. We will discuss who should be the supplier, who should be the recipient. Okay. So SLS. So they are saying security lending scheme shall not be treated as security, as disposal of security. Therefore, it is not excluded from the definition of service because we know that money and security are being excluded. Correct. But security lending scheme, it is like giving the security on land. The lending fees charged from the borrower has the character of the consideration and therefore it is taxable in the GST. Apart from the above, the activity of intermediary for commission or fee are also taxable separately. So that is okay. Now schedule 1. Let me ask you one example and then we will discuss. If let me ask you one example or one question on the schedule 1 and then we will start the discussing. I have one motor car. I am the company and motor car, when I have purchased the motor car, I have not taken the input tax credit. This motor car I have given to my employee. This motor car I have given to my employee free of cost. Assume the market value of that motor car is still 1 lakh. So I have given you 2-3 important part. I have purchased the car, let's say in 2020. I have not taken the input tax credit. I have transferred permanently to my employee without any consideration. Market value is almost 1 lakh rupees, but I'm not charging any amount. Will this transaction, my question is, will this transaction be taxable in the GST? Okay, you are saying not taxable, you are saying no supply because ITC not taken. ठीक है. No reason, no ITC taken. Okay. Any other view? Any other view? Fine, let's see. You are giving the answer. You are giving the answer based on the first para. Absolutely. Whether it is correct or no, not correct, that we will discuss in some time. And you have used that permanent transfer will be taxable when ITC has been availed. Very, very well. So you are clear with the para number 1. Is it a permanent transfer? Yes. Business asset? Yes, car is my business asset. ITC I have taken? No, I have not taken the ITC. Has been availed on that asset, then only this transaction would be taxable. Okay. So by virtue of the para number 1, I am agreeing with your view that it is not taxable. Let's analyze para 2. Supply of the goods or services or both between related person or between distinct person as specified in section 25 when made in the course or furtherance of business, whether employee is a related party or not. Just confirm whether employee is a related party or not. Whether employee is a related party or not, answer is yes, it is related. And we all are clear that in the schedule 1, there will be zero consideration. Do you agree with this now? All the transactions the schedule 1 will have the zero consideration. Do you agree with this? इसमें तो कोई confusion नहीं है ना? हाँ. There will be no consideration. But if my transaction is covered in the schedule 1, then it will be taxable. We are talking about this part only, right? So the question cannot come that it is a zero consideration. So I have sold the car to my related party or not? I have sold the car to my related party or not? Yes or no? Answer is yes. And is there any condition whether ITC has been taken or not? Is there any condition whether ITC has been taken or not? No. It was in the para number 1, not in the para number 2. So therefore, I'm saying if it is with the related party, that's it. If it is with the related party, that's it. Not required to see any other condition. Now the proviso says that if the value is not exceeding 50, then it will be not rated as a supply. Now you go to the rule 27 to 31. We will discuss the valuation chapter. In that, there is a valuation rule with the related party, which is talking about if you're doing the transaction with the related party, it will be taxable at open market value. Correct? Now combine all the three things. What is the open market value which I told you? 1 lakh. Is it covered in the proviso? Answer is no, because it is giving the relaxation only up to 50,000 rupees. What is my open market value? 1 lakh. So it is not covered in the proviso? No. Is it with related party? Yes. Do we need to see whether ITC has been taken or not? Answer is no. This is the only important part, that in the para 2, you are not required to see whether ITC has been taken or not. So after reading the para 2, I am concluding that yes, this transaction is taxable. Any doubt you may ask. Now it says that supply of the, if I see in the course is okay, but in the course of further, say for example, if I am purchasing the furniture, and when at the time of the sale of that furniture, I am required to pay the GST. I am the manufacturing company of, let's say, steel. I have purchased the furniture. Now I am selling that old furniture. Do I need to pay the GST? Suppose all the conditions are satisfied. Matlab below, above WDV and everything. Sale of furniture will also be treated as in the course of furtherance of business. Correct. Similarly, when I'm purchasing the asset, when I'm purchasing any asset, like car, like furniture, like computer, if I am eligible to take ITC, then I'm taking the ITC. For taking the input tax credit, it is important that it should be in the course of furtherance of business, right? So even I am selling my old asset, whether it is computer, whether it is furniture, whether it is car, it will always be considered as in the course of furtherance of business if it is my business asset. Make sense? Supply of goods by a principal to agent or by an agent to principal will be treated as supply even without consideration. And import of service from a related person or from any of his other establishment outside India in the course of furtherance of business will be taxable. So I always make one chart. I'll prepare the chart here this time as well. If you can help me, it would be excellent. So import of service, let's say business and consideration. Very simple thing. Assume that there is a four situation which I have covered. Whether taxable or not, just give me the answer 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, no, yes, no. Whether taxable, yes, no, yes, no. You can simply give the answer yes, no, yes, no. It is always taxable. There is no question. So I hope you are able to see my Excel sheet. By which provision I can say section 7, subsection 1, clause A as well as clause B. If there is no business and there is a consideration, will the transaction be taxable? Answer is again yes. What would be the reason? 7(1)(b). It says that if there is a consideration, then import of service would always be taxable whether or not course or furtherance of business. Correct. Now, in the third case, import of service. If there is a business, do no consideration. Will that transaction is taxable? This is important. You please give the answer. Oh, all is given the answer.
Taxable. Taxable.
Always taxable, or we have to see something. What would be the relevant provision? Why it is taxable? If I'm asking why it is taxable, can you give me the relevant provision? The answer is Schedule 1, right? And the para 4. It will be taxable. I can say conditional yes. Why I am saying conditional yes? Because supplier should be related person or any of his other establishment outside India. Correct? Then only it is taxable. Otherwise, if there is a business but consideration is not there, it will not always be taxable. Suppose if I have taken the import of service from unrelated party and there is no consideration, will it be taxable? Answer is no. So for import of service, the taxability would depend upon whether supplier is my related party or whether supplier is my establishment located outside India. If answer is yes, then only it is taxable. And obviously, if both are not there, then it will not be taxable. Thank you. So I'm leaving this particular part. Need out. Okay. So if I'm sending the goods from Lucknow to my Delhi office, stock transfer to the from Lucknow to Delhi, will it be taxable or not? Will it be taxable or not? It will be taxable, and stock transfer is taxable. Why? Because it will be the distinct person. But if I'm transferring within the state and they do not have that different GST number, in that case, it will not be treated as supply. Reason? They are not distinct person. So for taxability, it is important that they should be distinct person. That was very nice circular 172. Very nice circular. It has been clarified that perquisite provided by the employer in terms of contractual agreement will not be subject to the GST. If something is part and parcel of my employment contract, it will not be treated that employer is providing the service to the employee and it is taxable. No. Now, only one crux I'm telling to you with respect to agent. Will the principal and agent fall in the schedule 1 para 3 or not? What is the deciding factor? The deciding factor is who is raising the invoice. If the invoice is raised by the agent on behalf of the principal, when the invoice is raised by the agent on behalf of the principal, then in that case, it will fall in the para 3. It means the transaction between principal and agent would always be taxable. अगर invoice agent raise करता है, if the invoice is issued by the agent to the customer in the name of the principal only, in that case, such agent does not fall within the ambit of para 3. Okay. This is the deciding factor, important point. Del creditor agent. मतलब Del creditor agent charging the higher commission. Why they are charging the higher commission? Because they are securing the payment also. In case if ultimate person has failed to make the payment, then this agent will pay on behalf of the ultimate customer. Okay. So when the buyer failed to make the payment to the principal, the DCA make the payment to the principal on behalf of the buyer. It is the main different feature. In order to guarantee the timely payment, the DCA can resort to the various methods, including short-term transaction-based loan to the buyer or paying the supplier himself and recovering the amount. This loan is to be repaid by the buyer along with interest to the DCA at a rate mutually agreed between the DCA and the buyer. This loan is to be repaid. Okay. So this loan itself, which is not taxable in the GST, if there is an interest, something like that, it is not taxable in the GST. So what the circular clarified, where the DCA fall into the ambit of the para 3 of the schedule 1, if the invoice again is issued to the customer by the agent in his own name, it will fall. If it is issuing in the name of the principal, it will not fall. Whether the temporary short loan transaction based loan extended by the DC to the recipient for which interest is charged is to be included in the value or not. There are three important transactions. First is supply of the goods by principal, main supplier, to the ultimate customer. Then agency services by the agent to the principal. Okay. Or recipient if they are charging some commission. And then supply of the extension of the loan by the DCA to the recipient. Okay. Interest being charged by the DCA would not form part of the value by the supplier. When the DCA is agent under Schedule 1 Para 3 and make the payment to the principal on behalf of the buyer and charge the interest to the buyer for the delayed payment along with the value. Anybody would like to comment? If there is a delayed payment for which the interest is being charged, will it be included in the value? अगर डिलेड पेमेंट ऑफ एनी कंसिडरेशन है जिसके लिए कोई इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी चार्ज किया जाता है, will it be included in the value? If you read the section 15 subsection 2, there are the 5 things to be added in the value, and for which there is a one clause which talks about interest, penalty, or any other amount which is being charged for the delayed payment of any consideration. Wo interest will be added in the value. Will be added in the value. Now, will it be taxable or not? That is a different question. Try to understand. There are two set of questions. The interest late fees. किसके लिए charge हो रहा है? Is it for loan or is it for delayed payment? They are saying it is for delayed payment. So if you see the section 15 subsection 2, it talks about the interest, if it is for the delayed payment, will be added in the value. That is one part. Second part, will this addition in the value be taxable or not? That depend upon the composite supply, mixed supply. What is the principal supply? If the principal supply is exempted, then such addition would also be exempted. If the principal supply is taxable, then this addition in the value would also be taxable. It is clarified that in case where the DC is a resident under Para 3, the temporary short-term transaction-based credit provided by the DCA to the buyer no longer retain the character of an independent supply and is it subsumed in the supply of the goods by the DCA to the recipient. So you can read in the detail. It is further clarified that values and interest charged for such credit would require to be included as per the 15 subsection 2 clause D. Okay. Now, import of service, I have discussed some part with you. Circular 92, very important circular. Again, I can say free sample and gift. Sample which are supplied free of cost without any consideration. Will they qualify or not? Answer is no, they do not qualify. Why they do not qualify? So normally we hear the normal transaction that buy one get one free. Correct. It is a normal transaction, buy one get one free. Will the second, let's say I'm assuming that it is an offer by any Raymond's. He's saying that buy one shirt, get one shirt free. So second item which is supplied without free of cost, will it be supplied or not? That we are discussing. It may appear at first glance that in case offer like buy one get one free, in fact, it is not an individual supply of the free goods. They are not giving the second set as free of cost. It is a case of they are giving the two shirt at one price. Will it be mixed supply or will it be composite supply? Single price but two shirt. So when I am using the word single price, most of the time students jump to the answer as mixed supply. What is the difference in the composite supply and mixed supply? When you read that in the mixed supply, it is important that price should be single. In the mixed, the price should be single. That is the additional condition. But composite, it can be single or it can be separate. My only point which I like to highlight, that whenever the question says that it is a single price, never jump to the mixed supply. Why? Because you have to see other combination, other conditions. Because in case of the composite supply, there is no condition with respect to price. In mixed supply, there is a condition. So when the question says that it is a single price, you can say it can be composite, it can be mixed. Because composite, it is not important whether price is single or separate or no price for secondary item, something like that. So it is not a supply of the free goods. So they are supplying the two shirts at one price. So is it a supply of the composites? Answer is yes. Normally I can say it is both are same item. So will you say the composite? Will you say the mix? Does not matter. So it can be treated as supplying the two goods at one. Taxability of the supply will depend upon as to whether the supply is a composite or mix, and the rate shall be determined accordingly. Okay, that is being told by circular 92. Or also there is some concept of ITC that we will discuss in the ITC chapter. Now let's see the schedule 2. So you can read that circular. There are a lot of circular clarification. You can read that circular PSLC in the nature of the goods. And priority sector lending certificate is not security. So this circular I was talking about applicability of the GST on the liquidated damage compensation arising, etc. Very, very important. Now, agreeing to the obligation to different from nectar to tolerate a nectar situation, I think schedule 2, first read the schedule 2 at least. So transfer, any transfer in the title of the goods, it will be treated as supply of the goods. Okay. Second is any transfer of right in goods or undivided share in the goods without transfer of the title, that is supply of service. Then any lease, tenancy, easement or license to occupy, that is supply of service. Then any lease letting out of the building, including the commercial, industrial, residential for business or commerce, wholly or partly, that is also the supply of service. Para 2. Para 3 says that any treatment or process which is applied on another person goods, very important, another person goods, that is supply of service. Now, one difference, that will it be job work? Will it be job work? So when I'll explain the concept of the job work, then here the one word would be added, which will be, will it be job work? The another person should be registered. So always remember that for qualifying as job work, the treatment of the process should be applied on another registered person. So in case of the job work, principal should be registered, then only my transaction will be qualify as job work and the transaction would be taxable accordingly. Okay. Now the transfer of the business asset, goods forming part are transferred or disposed by or under the direction of the person carrying on the business so as no longer form part of those assets, supply the goods. And goods for business put to private use are made available to any person, then supply of service. Goods forming part of any business by a person who ceased to be taxable shall be deemed to be the supply by him, that is supply of the goods. Renting of immovable property, supply of service. Construction of the complex building, civil structure or part thereof, it will be taxable. Yes, it will be supply the service. But what is the exception? What is exception? If it is sold, if it is sold after full consideration. So in which situation the transaction would not fall in the construction of the complex building civil structure if full consideration if full consideration is being taken if the full consideration is being taken after CC or after first occupancy, whichever is later. तो क्या वो ट्रांजेक्शन टैक्सेबल होगा? वो ट्रांजेक्शन टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा. Why it is not taxable? Because in that case it will fall in the schedule 3 para 5. ठीक है. So temporary transfer of permitting the use of intellectual property right, yes, it will be supply service. Development, design, programming for IT software, again it is a supply the service. So for that, because of the time, I am not reading that circular, but for this I would suggest must read circular 178 that has been given. Agreeing to the obligation to refrain from an act or to tolerate an act or situation or to do an act will be supply of service. But in which situation the transaction will not considered as supply of service or will not fall in this agreeing to the obligation? Like I read one circular, no claim bonus. In the circular 178, you will read that if employer is taking the notice pay, employee is giving the notice pay to the employer, will it be taxable? Again, answer is no, it is not taxable. So likewise, there are various situation has been clarified, must read because it is very important for exam. Then work contract is a supply of service, and second is restaurant is also supply of service. These are the schedule 2. Let's move to the schedule 3 and then we will close the discussion for supply chapter. There are very, very important circular clarification, but just I could not complete all the things. So this is very important circular. I can say 245. Original equipment manufacturer offering replacement of the goods and its part repair services under warranty to the customer. So I would say kindly read, and in the next class if you have any doubt we will discuss just quickly. Okay. So it is a very lengthy circular. Let me move to the schedule 3. Applicability of the GST on the location or preferential location charges along with the consideration for the sale. It will be added in the value. No supply. Schedule 3, we all know that it is not a supply. Okay. There are total, earlier there was a 6, then 8, then now 10. Service, employer to employee. 9. Employee to employer. Employee to employer. Please read. It is not employer to employee. No, it is this, like employee to employer. So basically, the employee who are doing the job, they are providing the professional services and for which they are getting the consideration in terms of salary. Will it be taxable? They are saying no, it is not taxable. Okay. Then one second. Then service by any court or tribunal established under any law for the timing in force. Court means district court, high court, supreme court. Then will there be taxable? Answer is no, it will not be taxable. It is out of GST. So function performed by member of parliament, member of state legislature, member of panchayat, member of municipality, etc. Then will it be taxable duties performed by any person holding persons to the provision of the constitution, like president, like prime minister. They are keeping the position. They are holding the position in terms of the as per the constitutions. It is not employer-employee relationship. Will it be taxable? Answer is no. And duty performed by any person as a chairperson or member or director by the central government, state government, who is not deemed to be the employee before the commencement of this clause, then it will also not taxable. Service by the funeral, after death, etc., then it is not taxable. Supply of the land and subject to para 5 clause B, sale of building, where entire consideration is received after issuance of CC or first occupancy, whichever is later. Now, is it have any relevance with the ITC chapter? This is my question. Whether this para has any relevance with the ITC chapter? इसका कोई रिलेवेंस है क्या आईटीसी चैप्टर के साथ? जस्ट टेल मी. है तो सही, इसका रिलेवेंस तो है. नाउ थिंक एंड टेल मी व्हाट इज द रिलेवेंस ऑफ दिस पैरा विद दिस. You are very near. You are very near, Gita. Just what is the use? So you are taking some references. Very nice, very nice. When you read the concept of reversal of ITC, when you read the concept of reversal of ITC, section 17, subsection 3, you will find that this para and one more para 8A, it will be treated as exempted supply for the purpose of reversal. And very nicely said by the Gita that for this purpose, the value will be treated as stamp duty का value, जो stamp duty जिस value पे भरा है ना, so the value which is taken for the purpose of stamp duty, the same will be treated here. So when I'm talking about reversal of ITC, so for that purpose of reversal of ITC, clear, Samyanathan and Sachesthana. So for the purpose of reversal of ITC, we will consider this supply as exempted supply. Okay. So actionable claim other than specified actionable claim. Can you give me any one example of a specified actionable claim? Can you give me any one example of a specified actionable claim? Any one example of a specified actionable claim? Any one example of a specified actionable claim? Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, OIDAR. No, OIDAR is not a specified actionable claim. That is a service. But yes, online money gaming is the example. So, a specified actionable claim is taxable or not taxable? A specified actionable claim are taxable or not taxable? Taxable. Only actionable claim are not taxable, but they have exclude other than specified. It means the specified actionable claim are taxable in the GST. Betting, casino, gambling, horse racing, lottery, online money gaming, etc. And whether online money gaming is goods or service. Whether online money gaming is goods or service. Yes. Always remember, actionable claim is included in the definition of goods. So, actionable claim, whether it is normal or whether it is specified, will always be goods. So, online gaming is a goods or service? Answer is goods. Yes, absolutely correct. And merchant trading supplies the goods from a place in the non-taxable territory to non-taxable territory without such goods entering into India. In bond sales, supply the warehouse goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. And high seas sale, supply the goods by the consignee to any other person by endorsement of the document or title. Normally, we are saying high seas sale. It is again not taxable in the GST. Now, they have added para 9 and para 10, which is important for your exam. Activity of apportionment of co-insurance premium by the lead insurer to the co-insurer. So suppose I'm a lead insurer and you are my co-insurance. So I am leading, I am going to take one transaction, and whatever the premium I have collected earlier, before 22nd September, that transaction was normally there was a litigation that when I am sharing the co-insurance premium to the co-insurer, will this also be taxable? That was question mark. So now they have added this in the para 9. Okay. And service by the insurer to the reinsurer for which ceding commission or the reinsurance commission is deducted from the reinsurance premium paid by the insurer to the reinsurer. So will again they have clarified as well by this circular. So last part we are discussing that composite supply and mixed supply. So for composite supply, there has to be the principal supply. There has to be the principal supply and then see 2 or more taxable item, right? So supply of 2 or more taxable items. So one would be the principal, second would be the ancillary. ठीक है, तो principal element is mandatory to have. And what will be the taxability? Whatever the transaction, whatever the tax rate is applicable on the principal, this would be applied on the entire combo. Example number 1, location charges. I am collecting, let's say, meter installation charges. These are not electricity. These are taxable. But what is my principal supply? Principal supply is electricity. So any addition to this item, it will be added in the value, but again, it would be exempted in the GST. It would be exempted in the GST because my principal supply of electricity, it is exempted, therefore entire combo would be exempted. Second example, healthcare, you can say, like ICU treatment. So medicine is not exempted. It is taxable, but when it is supplied along with medical treatment in the hospitals, and they are charging, main supply is the healthcare service which is exempted, and any addition will not be taxable because principal is exempted. What about mixed supply? Which tax it would apply? Principal, ancillary, or highest? Principal supply का tax rate apply होगा, ancillary वाला apply होगा, या highest tax rate will be applied in case of mixed supply? Answer is, in case of mixed supply, highest tax rate would be levied on the entire combo. And what is the second important condition for the mixed supply? What is the second important condition for the mixed supply? The price should be single. So by this we have completed the supply chapter. Let's take a small break of 10 minutes. Then we will move to the next chapter, that is charge of GST. ठीक है, हम 10 मिनट बाद मुलाकात करते हैं असूम जी। ठीक है। So the topic is levy and collection of GST. So the topic name is charge of GST, in which we will discuss basically the reverse charge mechanism. So levy is being I can say to be referred for section for levy. I will refer the section 9 of the CGST Act. Okay. And mainly the list of the goods and list of services are important. One thing always remember that the all conditions has to be satisfied for RCM. What is the meaning? Let's say I am giving the GTS service to an individual, Mr. A, who is not doing business, not registered, doing the business but not registered in GST because उसका जो threshold है that is below. So he has not taken the registration, but I am the GTS service provider. I have given the service. Will it be taxable or not? So check what is the condition given with respect to service. What is the condition given with respect to supplier? Condition क्या है with respect to recipient? All the condition has to be satisfied. Then only the transaction would fall under RCM. If it is not under RCM, then what? Then there could be the two possibility. Either it is FCM or it is exempted. Got my point? See, for any transaction, there would be the three possibility. If it either FCM or RCM or exemption. किसी भी केस में तीन ही तो पॉसिबिलिटी होगी. There would be only three possibility for any transaction. GTA is very important. I can say in every exam, we would be able to see the the example or the case or the question on the GTA always, right now. So let me first talk about the goods. Cashew nuts, BD wrapper, tobacco leaves. If the supplier is agriculturist and recipient is registered, then it will be taxable under RCM. Correct. Now they have added the essential oil. The supplier should be any unregistered person and recipient should be registered person, like mentha oil, etc. Silk yarn. Any person who manufactured the silk yarn from the raw silk or the silk worm cocoons, any registered person. Then raw cotton. Agriculturist, any registered person. Supply of the lottery. Okay. The state government, union territory, local authority, the lottery distributor or selling agent. Then supply of the lottery would be taxable. Now, used vehicle, seized vehicle, and any confiscated goods, old and used goods, waste and scrap. If this is being supplied by the central government, excluding the railway. Now, tell me one. I will ask 2-3 questions here. If railway is selling the confiscated old goods to registered person, then who will pay the tax? Will it be RCM or FCM or exemption? Considering that they have excluded the Ministry of Railway, who will pay the tax? Will it be under FCM? Will it be under RCM or will it be exempted? The answer is the vehicle is used, yes. Recipient is registered, yes, but supplier is not covered in this. Therefore, all the conditions are not satisfied. So one thing I can surely say, the RCM will not be there. One thing I can surely say that RCM will not be there. So either it will be the forward charge or it will be exempted, because for this entry there is no exemption. So the answer would be it will be taxable in the forward charge. Now let's take one more example and build the concept of RCM from here. Let's say central government is selling the old motor vehicle to the Mr. A, who is doing the business but not registered as of now. Will the RCM be applicable? Will the RCM be applicable? In this case, will the RCM be applicable? Check whether vehicle is used. Yes. Whether supplier is government, central government, state government. Yes. Whether recipient is registered person. No. Who is the recipient? Unregistered person. Whether he is covered in the category of the recipient. No. If it is not covered, then first thing is clear, no RCM. First thing is clear, no RCM. If all the three conditions are not satisfied, if all the three conditions are not satisfied, in that case, it will not be taxable under RCM. Because the recipient is not registered, so it cannot be taxable under RCM. See why I am saying so. When you read this clause with registration chapter section 24 clause 3, you mean to say your mind will immediately say that in case of RCM it is mandatory registration. No. Why no? If RCM applicable, then it is mandatory. When RCM is applicable, if all the three conditions are satisfied. Now, in my example, even though it is unregistered, can I say that you need to pay the tax under RCM? No, I can't say, because the third condition says that it will be under RCM if the recipient is registered. If the recipient is unregistered, then question of 24(3) will not apply here. ये बहुत बड़ा कंफ्यूजन है, प्लीज बी केयरफुल. ठीक है, एनी registered person has to be there for leviability of RCM under this category. So sir, then what is the use of 23? Then you might say, what is the use of 23? You might say, what is the use of 23? Let's say in this entry the word was any person. Let's say in this entry the word was any person. Assume that. Now, in this case, if the recipient is unregistered, will the RCM be applicable? Answer is yes, RCM will be applicable. Now you can say, by virtue of the 23, if recipient is unregistered, has to take the mandatory registration and pay the tax under RCM. Clear हुआ difference आपको? Now, priority sector lending certificate is goods. And also we were talking about one circular that priority sector lending certificate is not security, it is taxable. Now, if the supplier is registered person, recipient is registered person, then it will be taxable under RCM. Metal scrap. Any unregistered person to the recipient, any registered person, it will be taxable. If the supplier is registered, assume, if the supplier is registered and making the supply to the registered person, will it be RCM or will it be FCM? Metal scrap. If the metal scrap is being supplied by the registered person to the registered person, will it be taxable under RCM? It will be under FCM. Right. Why you are saying so? Because you have checked this condition that supplier should be unregistered, then only it will be under RCM. Similarly, you will always check the recipient condition before giving the answer, the taxability will be under RCM or FCM. Now, GT is very, very important. We will discuss, giving some example, giving some discussion in detail. Supply of the service by the GT in respect of transportation of goods by route to I can say to 7 specified categories of the recipient. 7 specified category of the recipient. Who are the 7 specified category? Factory registered under or governed by the Factories Act. So let's say GTA, who is providing the service to the factory who is registered under the Factories Act, but not registered under Factories Act, but not registered in the GST. Will the RCM be applicable? It is unregistered factory. Will the RCM be applicable? The answer is yes. Whether the factory has to take mandatory registration and pay the tax under RCM? In this case, will the factory take the mandatory registration and pay the tax under RCM? Answer is yes. Now here you can say, by virtue of the section 24 clause 3, by virtue of the section 24 clause 3, the factory need to take mandatory registration in the GST also, because this cover registered factories in the GST as well as unregistered factory in the GST. So now you are very clear. Okay. Same, any societies registered under the Societies Act, any cooperative society, any person registered in the GST, any body corporate, any partnership firm, or any casual taxable person. So if the recipient is 7 specified categories of the recipient, in that case, we can say the RC would be applicable, and recipient, if not registered, they have to take mandatory registration. Okay. Now, the GTA service will not be under RCM if they are giving to the department or establishment of central government or state government, local authority, okay, and government who undertake that, who have taken the registration under section 51, that is for tedious purpose only. So the government, suppose if they are not making the outward taxable supplies, they're not required to take regular category of registration, but still they will fall under the category of the TDS. They might fall under the category of the TDS, am I right? And therefore they need to take registration under the TDS category. So they have taken the registration under the TDS category. Then if they are taking the services for the GTA, will it be taxable? Answer is no. They are saying it will not taxable under RC. Similarly, they are saying the RCM will not be applied if the GTA has opted to pay the tax under forward charge. Correct? They have to file the declaration in the prescribed form and issue the invoice, that we will discuss in the invoice accounts and records chapter, that what declaration is required to be reported in the, or required to be made on the invoice. But yes, this is the case. Now the question comes, मैं एक बार वापस इसी entry में जाता हूँ. Let me go to the bottom. And this entry we will discuss in detail. Spend 5-10 more minutes. Now you all know from 22nd September, the rate is being changed and now it is taxable at 18% from 22nd September 2025 onwards. So check when you are giving the exam and accordingly statutory updates. Now my question is, can GTA, very important question, can GTA who has opted forward charge at the same time, can he apply 5% as well as RCM, matlab 5% under FCM as well as 12% or 18%, 12% or 18% according to the date. Both can he both apply at the same time? क्या एक जीटीए दो इनवॉइस अलग अलग रिसिपेंट को रेज कर सकता है? कैन ही रेज द टू इनवॉइस चार्जिंग बाय टू डिफरेंट टैक्स रेट 5 and 12 or 5 and 18? Please always remember, answer is yes. He can charge 5% as well as he can charge 12% also according to the category of the recipient. There was an amendment. See, if I talk about day 1 of the GST, July 17, it was not possible. Either 5 or 12. I do agree. See, there was no concept of 5% at that point of time. It is only under RCM. In the FCM, there is only concept of 12%. There is only concept of 12%. In the FCM, there is no concept of 5%. And that then suppose if I'm a GTA and you are exempted entities. Let's say you are supplying the unbranded, unpacked milk, not taxable. You will not take the service of me if I am charging 12%. Am I right? Because you are not eligible to take ITC. So you will always prefer the truck GTA service who are not charging the tax. So you will pay the tax under 5% under RCM. You will save 7%, right? In that case, what happened? In the entire market, there are two categories of the GTA being preferred in the market. If the recipient is eligible for ITC, they might go for the 12% under forward charge. If the recipient is under exempted category, then they will opt those GTA who are not charging GST. Because if they will charge GST, they will charge 12%. Then it was made amended. They are saying they have to file the declaration for forward charge. So the option has to be opted. Would you like to go for FCM or would you like to go RCM? If you like to go for FCM, then also you can charge 5 or you can charge 12. Then what is the benefit? Because again, if you see the section 17 subsection 3, exemption entries, reversal of ITC exempted supply, the proportionate reversal will come if it's charging 5%. 5% is the rate without ITC and 12% earlier and now 18% is the rate with ITC. So if they are charging both, for some category of recipient 5%, for some category of recipient 12%, in that case, proportionate reversal of ITC concept will come, but the answer is he can charge 5%. So registered GT exercise the option to pay the tax, he can charge 12%, he can charge 5% forward charge. Is it clear? And if they do not exercise the option to pay the tax, then GST is payable only 5% under reverse charge. So I'm repeating once again, which things GTA cannot do. They cannot do at the same time FCM and at the same time RCM they cannot do. What they can do, if they have opted FCM, they can charge 5 or they can charge 12 or 18. I hope it is clear, right? So again, this is an entry that we will discuss later on. Let me move to again the main chart. Okay. So if it is a legal service given by the individual advocate, including senior advocate or firm of advocate, the recipient, who is the business entity, will pay the tax under RCM. Now, similarly, I would say that whenever you are referring the reverse charge entries, always remember the exemption entries. Why I am saying so? Because suppose if it is an individual advocate, they are providing the service to Mr. A who is doing the business but not registered. If you read this language, they are saying any business entity, they are not saying any registered person. They are saying any business entity located in the taxable territory. That's it. So in this case, the Mr. A who is the business entity, will the RCM be applicable? Prima facie it appears so. But if you read the exemption entries, you will find the legal service given to the unregistered person. That is an exempted entries. That is an exemption. So therefore, I can say that the service given to the Mr. A would fall under the exemption, and it is not liable to take the mandatory category of registration and not liable for RCM. So my point is, whenever you are reading the RCM entry, always remember to read the exemption entries as well. Service supplied by the arbitrary tribunal to the business entity, again it is taxable under RCM. Sponsorship services, then recipient, if the body corporate or firm located in the taxable territory, they will pay the tax under RCM. Now tell me, what is the impact of adding this word? Earlier there was only any person. Now they are saying any person and they have added some word other than body corporate. What is the impact of this? What is the impact of this? If body corporate give the sponsorship services to the partnership firm or any other body corporate, will it be RCM or will it be FCM? Will it be under RCM or will it be under FCM? Now I can say that because they have excluded other than body corporate, because they've excluded the body corporate from the supplier. Therefore, I can say if the supplier is body corporate, the condition with respect to supplier is not satisfied. And considering that, if the body corporate make the supply, then it is always under FCM. It is always under FCM. By which what will happen? They can take the input tax credit. The such body corporate would be entitled to take the input tax credit. Then again, service supplied by the government, central government, state government, local authority, union territory. Then any business entity located in the taxable territory will require to pay the tax under RCM. Okay. What is being excluded? Renting of immovable properties being excluded. Earlier, they were saying it will always under RCM, but now they have inserted one more entry just after that we will discuss, that in some case, again, renting of immovable property will also come under RCM. Okay. Then Department of the Post or service in relation to aircraft, vessel, inside, outside the person or transportation of goods. Okay. Now, when the central government is providing the service of renting of immovable property, and if the person recipient is registered, it will be taxable under RCM. It will be taxable. So I can say that if the central government providing the renting services to the unregistered person, then they will pay the tax under forward charge. Is that clear? They will pay the tax under forward charge because RCM will not apply. RCM is limited to the registered person. What about if the railway, give me the answer, if the railway provide the renting of immovable property to the registered person, FCM or RCM? If railway provide the renting of immovable property to registered person, will it be under FCM or will it be under RCM? Answer is FCM. Why FCM? Because they have excluded the Indian Railway. Okay? Directly it is being asked in the exam. The 5AA is on the residential and 5AB is on the commercial, other than residential. Okay. So in the residential dwelling, any person, and in the commercial it is saying any unregistered person. So in case of residential dwelling given to the registered person, then it will be taxable under RCM. But in case of the commercial other than residential property, if it is given to the registered person by unregistered person, if the landlord is unregistered, then only it will come under RCM. And other than the person who has opted to pay the tax under composition, again, when it will not be taxable under RCM, if the recipient is composition dealer. When it will not be taxable under RCM, if the recipient is composition dealer. Okay. Entry number 5B and entry number 5C is being added to consider the real estate sector. Service supplied by any person by way of the trans TDR, FSI, or long-term lease 30 years or more. If the recipient is promoter developer, they are not saying registered, they are not saying unregistered. No, they are saying irrespective of the category of the supplier, if the recipient is promoter, who is the promoter? In case of real estate, RERA, there is a concept of RERA, real estate regulation. So who is developing the building, that is called as a promoter. And if the promoter is taking the TDR, FSI, or the long-term lease, then they have to pay the tax under reverse charge. Okay. So service supplied, next category, service supplied by the director to the company or body corporate, then company will pay the tax under RC. Now, if the director, so there is a clarification, very nice clarification, must read that clarification. Suppose if it is a director, so suppose I am a director of XYZ Limited and I am taking the remuneration, will the company pay the tax under RCM on my remuneration? Will the company pay the tax under RCM? No. See, director remuneration is nothing but like a salary. Director remuneration is nothing but like a salary. So if I'm a regular director, then I would be treated as employer-employee only. I have the relation with the company as an employee. Okay. So the director who is getting the remuneration and on which the TDS is being deducted under section 192, in that case, what will happen? In that case, I am getting the director remuneration will be treated as salary and will be not taxable, and no question of RC because it is being excluded by virtue of the Schedule 3. Next point, if I'm an independent director, non-regular director, I'm not executive director, I'm an independent director, then whatever I'm getting as per Companies Act, the circular has linked with the Companies Act. They are saying that independent director cannot be the employee of the company. Okay. So if I'm an independent director, by whatever I'm taking the amount, whether it is remuneration, whether it is fees, whether it is any professional services, on any amount, the recipient company will pay the tax under RCM. Now, next categories. Suppose I'm a regular director, but I have one cab, I have one Mercedes, okay, which I have given to the company, for which I am collecting some amount. Because of this serial number 6, will the company pay the tax under RCM? Will the company pay the tax under RCM? The clarification was that it is not the director service, it is a renting service. It is not the service in the capacity of the director. It is not the service in the capacity of the director. Therefore, it is not taxable. Therefore, it is not taxable by virtue of the serial number 6 under RCM. That is the different game altogether. There is one more entry on the renting of cab. That is different game. That is different discussion. So it might fall in any other reason, in any other category, then it may be taxable. That is different. But this will not be classified or qualified as renting the director service. It is a renting service, which is not the director service, will not fall under RCM because of serial number 6. These are the some crux which I have explained. You can refer in detail. You can refer in detail. Okay. Now, by insurance company, by recovery agent, then recipient, any person who is carrying the insurance, who is carrying the banking business, will pay the tax under RCM. Earlier, the author was also being there in the serial number 9. Now they are saying music composer, photographer, artist, music company, they will pay the tax under RCM. Author has been separately added. Why? So that the author can opt forward charge or otherwise RCM. This entry is exactly similar to the GTA. This entry is exactly similar to the GTA. They are saying if author like to pay the tax under forward charge, no problem. He can opt and pay the tax under forward charge. If he has taken the registration and he has given the declaration. Supply of the service by the member of overseeing our committee to the Reserve Bank of India, then RBI will pay the tax. Again, the loan related to the loan individual. The point is individual is important. They are not covering the like partnership companies, DSA. No. If the supplier is individual DSA and the recipient is banking company, then the banking company will pay the tax under RCA. Service supplied by the business facilitator or business correspondent, they will pay, banking company will pay the tax under RCA. Security service, again, it is important. Serial number 14, very, very important, I would say. Now, which type of the service are being covered? Security personnel. How they are getting the confusion, creating the confusion in the exams? They are saying manpower service. Will the manpower service is under RC? No. If the service is security, then only under RCM if these additional conditions are satisfied. If that is supplier is other than body corporate and recipient is registered person. That's it. Security service given by the any person other than body corporate, registered person will pay the tax under RC. Again, it will not applies to those government who are registered only for the purpose of TDS category. and also it will not apply if the recipient is composition. Can you tell me one more category where RCM will not apply if the recipient is composition? Just allow me 1 minute. I'm taking the 1 minute ka break. Meanwhile, please answer my question. Tell me one more category where no RCM if the recipient is composition. Renting of immovable property, and one more category, that is renting of, sorry, okay, renting of commercial property, immovable property other than residential. Absolutely correct. Restaurant service. Uh, I would not say directly restaurant because they are, let me go above and just show you that entries. See, I was talking about this entry 5A. Service by way of the renting of immovable property other than residential. Any registered person, but other than, it can be restaurant, it can be trader, it can be manufacturer, it can be any other service provider for which he has obtained the registration under composition when he is not required to pay the tax under RCM on commercial building received from unregistered person. Correct. So then I can say individual DSC is completed, security service is completed, and then again it is very, very important. I have seen the question in exam by capturing the serial number 15. Renting of motor vehicle. Which motor vehicle? Which is designed to carry the passenger. And cost of fuel is included or not included? Included. Remember all the conditions. Cost of fuel included. Which motor vehicle? Designed to carry the passenger. Correct. And who should be the supplier? Any person other than body corporate who supplies the service to the body corporate. Matlab, any person other than body corporate. Now you can see there are, can you tell me any two categories where the RCM does not applicable if the supplier is body corporate? Can you tell me two more categories where the RCM will not apply if the supplier is body corporate? Like services of renting of motor vehicle. Apart from this category, there are some more category, like just now we have discussed. Vehicle security service, right? Security service, right? Sponsorship services. Another example is sponsorship services. Likewise, you have to remember, these entries. What are the category of the supplier? What are the category of the recipient? More important, supplier and recipient is important. And recipient should be body corporate located in the taxable territory. If the supplier is other than body corporate, okay, recipient is body corporate. But if it's issuing the invoice at the rate of 6%, will the RCM be applies? Answer is no, because will the RCM be applies? Answer is no, because he can opt to pay the tax under forward charge, 12%. Security lending scheme. We have discussed this point in the discussion in the last supply chapter, that if the security lending scheme, as a part of the lender of security lending scheme, he is giving the security, then who will pay the tax? Borrower will pay the tax under RCM. as I told you that you should remember always the exemption entries. And this entry I'm talking about will be taxable under, see, this whatever we have discussed, the goods and services, that will applicable for IGST also. But now I am discussing the entries which is under RCM, only under IGST, like OIDAR and import of service. Any service supplied by any person who is located in the non-taxable territory, means out of India, and providing the service to the person located in the taxable territory, then it will be under RCM. Example, import of service. Now, can anybody tell me why they are saying other than NTOR, non-taxable online recipient? Can you tell me why they are excluding other than NTOR? Unregistered, okay, but they can simply write now any other than unregistered person. Why they are saying NTOR? Because there is a concept of OIDAR, online information database access retrieval. If the OIDAR service provided from out of India to recipient in India, and the recipient is NTOR, non-taxable online recipient, in that case, the transaction is taxable under forward charge. The transaction is taxable under forward charge. So only in this case it is taxable, otherwise it is not taxable. Okay. So they have given the definition, they have given the explanation. एक second, मुझे दीजिएगा एक. Taxability of remuneration of the director, DDA. So DDA is not a local authority under GST law. That has been clarified. So more or less we have covered. I think some composition levies are also there. So in case of composition levy, what I would say, see, there are three categories of the person who are eligible under section 10 subsection 1. First is trader, second is manufacturer, third is restaurant. If these, they have opted the composition, they can provide the service, up to what amount? Can you quickly tell me कि अगर मैं trader हूँ, manufacturer हूँ या restaurant हूँ, then also I can provide the service up to what amount? 10% of turnover or 5 lakh, whichever is higher, that I can provide, correct? Yes, absolutely correct. 5 lakhs or 10%, whichever is higher. To that amount, I can provide any service. See, what is the upper limit of eligibility of composition? That is 1.5 crore. I have taken the composition. Either I'm a trader or I'm a manufacturer or I'm a restaurant. Suppose I'm a restaurant, but I'm also providing the service of food packaging, transporting, delivering, delivery partner is there. But because earlier I am not able to provide any service other than restaurant, so I was question marked. I'm the manufacturer. So as a part of my business, I need to provide the AMC, but AMC is not the restaurant, and therefore I will become disqualified. Then they are saying that yes, you can provide the service, any service, up to certain threshold. The threshold is 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. There are certain condition. So they cannot provide any service other than whatever is given in the law above, and they cannot provide any non-taxable supply. They cannot engage any interstate outward supply. The interstate, they cannot engage in outward supply. He is not engaged in the supply of the service through e-commerce operator. Earlier it was goods also, but now the word goods has been omitted. What does it mean? I can provide the supply of the goods through ECO, liable to collect TCS. It is not restricted. Second category, they have only mentioned section 52. What does it mean? It means if I am a restaurant, I can provide the supply through Zomato. Why? Because Zomato is liable under 95, not under 52. So I'm not a casual taxable person. He's not a manufacturer of the goods as may be notified by the government. Can you give me one example? The category of the goods which is prohibited for composition. Manufacturing is prohibited under I'm not eligible for doing the manufacturing of that goods under composition. क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि कौन सी वो कैटेगरीज ऑफ गुड्स है जिसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज नॉट एलिजिबल अंडर कंपोजिशन? वेरी नाइस. पान मसाला, टोबैको, एरिएटेड वाटर, आइसक्रीम. ठीक है. Similarly, they have introduced the concept of 10(2)(a), any service. If I'm not eligible under 10(1), it means I'm not the restaurant service provider, I'm not the trader, I'm not the manufacturer. Then only I can go for 10(2)(a), any service other than these three categories. In that case, what will be the upper limit? 50 lakhs. What will be the tax rate? If I am opting the composition, what will be the tax rate? 6%. And rest of the restrictions are same as we have discussed earlier. So the composition taxable person cannot collect the tax and cannot claim the ITC also. Okay, that is okay. So that is analysis. So by this we have completed this chapter as well. So which return they are filing? They are filing the annually GSTR4 and they have to pay the tax on quarterly basis. Okay. By this we have completed the chapter. By this we have completed the chapter of the charge. Let's take a break of another 10 minutes and last we will do the place of supply. ठीक है, very important chapter. So अशोक जी एक बार 10 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट. of supply. What is the place of supply? So the entire chapter, I can say, the entire concept is being divided in 4 parts. What is the 4 part? Let's first understand. If it is a supply of the goods, then either section 10 will be applied or section 11 would be applied. If it is a supply of service, then either section 12 would be applied or 13 would be applied. 10 and 11, what is the difference? If it is the domestic supply of the goods other than import and export, section 10. If it is export and import, then section 11. But in case of services, the section 12 would be applied or 13 would be applied. It depends on the LOR and LOA. Location of recipient and location of supplier, not LOS. So if both are in India, then section 12. If anyone is outside India, then section 13. So by this, we will start our discussion. I am not going into the initial part, which talks about that the location of recipient or location of supplier or something like that. I'm saying section 10. Section 10. The clause A, it talks about that if the supply involve the movement of goods, if the supply involve the movement of the goods, whether movement is caused by the supplier or by the recipient or by any other person, the place of the supply shall be the location at the time at which the movement terminates for delivery to the recipient. Very simple. Then out of that, one concept is derived, bill to ship to model. Bill to ship to model. Again, in the recent, I have seen the question on this. In the recent exam, I have seen the question on 10.1b. What is the place of supply? So they are saying when the goods are delivered as per the instruction or direction of a third person. Mr. A is from Delhi. Mr. B is from Mumbai. He is giving the direction to A that kindly deliver the goods to Mr. C at Delhi. What would be the place of the supply? The clause A says the delivery at which the goods terminate for delivery to the recipient. So the delivery is terminated at Delhi. Will the place of supply be Delhi? No. According to the clause B, if this delivery is happened because of the some direction by any other person, in that case, the principal place of business of that person, that which is Maharashtra, will be the place of supply. What would be the place of the supply? Shall be the principal place of business of that person who is giving that direction. 10.1c, when that does not involve the movement of the goods. Does it mean that they are talking about immovable property? If I sold the building to you, is it the example of 10.1c? If I have sold the immovable property to you, is it the example of 10.1c? No, because the immovable property, if it is under construction, then it is service, and if it is completed, then out of GST. So we are talking about the place of the supply. We are talking about place of supply for goods. We are talking about place of supply for goods. So where the supply does not involve the movement, whether by supplier or by the recipient, the place of the supply shall be the location at the time of delivery to the recipient. So, like I have given the machinery on rent to my job worker. After 1 year, he intend to purchase that machine. I have sold that machine in 10 lakh rupees. Now, in this sale, Will there be any movement of goods? No. So this will fall under clause C. So it will be the location at which the goods are there at the time of delivery. New clause inserted. Very important. They are saying when the supply is made to unregistered person. When the supply is made to unregistered person, then only the 10(1) CA will be applied. Notwithstanding anything contrary contained in the clause A or the clause C. Clause A and clause C will be override if it is contrary to the clause C. Shall be the location as per the address of the said person recorded in the invoice issued in respect of supply. So whatever the address on the invoice, this will be the POS. If the address is not recorded, then the supplier location will be the POS. That is okay. Explanation says that for the purpose of this clause, recording of the name of the state shall be deemed to be the recording of the address of that person. So if I have written the address only, if I have written the name of the state only, it will be treated that it is the address. When the goods are assembled or installed at site, the place of the supply shall be place of installation. And when the goods are supplied on the board conveys, the place of the supply shall be the location at which goods are taken on board. ठीक है. इसमें important part क्या है? The one second. Only मतलब जो सबसे ज्यादा important मुझे लगता है मतलब which is see everything is important but Pareto shift model is older concept we know. Section 11 ठीक है. Now section 11 says that so import and export, very simple. Import of goods means bringing goods out of India to India, and export means taking the goods from India to outside India. What would be the place of the supply? In case of the import, location of importer. In case of export, location of exporter will be the place of supply. Very simple. Now we are talking about section 12. Place of supply where location of supply and the location of recipient both are in India. Now, this is a general principle. Section 12, subsection 2, it is a general principle. What is the general principle? General principle says that if you are making the supply of service which is not covered in 3 to 14, if it is covered in 3 to 14, what is the 3 to 14? So they are giving the banking transaction ka place of supply, immovable property ka place of supply, likewise. If your transaction is covered in 3 to 14, then the place of the supply will be decided according to that clause. If your transaction is not covered in 3 to 14, then it will be decided according to the general clause. What is the general clause? General clause says that if it is a B2B transaction, it made to the registered person. What is the place of the supply? Place of the supply is location of that person. If it is B2C, then divide in two parts. Whether address is available in the record of the supplier, whether the address is available in the record. If answer is yes, then the location of recipient. If answer is no, then location of supplier. Okay. Now we are reading the 3 to 14. What is the place of supply in case of immovable property? You quickly tell me. What is the place of the supply in case of immovable property? You all know. The location of property. Correct. Now, what are the transactions are covered in the subsection 3? Including service provided by architect, interior decorator, surveyor, engineer, or any other expert or real estate agent, or any service provided by way of the grant to use immovable property or carrying out any coordination work. by way of the lodging accommodation by a hotel in guest house, homestay club, campus site, by whatever name called, by way of accommodation in the hotel for organizing any marriage or reception, okay, or any ancillary services referred to in clause A, clause B, clause C, shall be the location of property that we know, or the boat or the vessel. It means they are not only covering the fixed things, immovable property, they are covering the movable property as well. The boat, are they talking about the fixed boat which is providing the accommodation service? No. They are also talking and covering the immovable boat as well, a movable boat as well, who are like traveling and also providing the stay services. So if this is the case, then if you read the circular, if you read the place of the supply rules, then you will be able to understand, yes, movable boat is also covered. Then if the location of the property, boat or vessel, is outside India, then what would be the place of supply? LOR. Now, this is the exception, I can say. Normally, the property location will be the place of supply. If the property is outside India, don't you think Section 13 will be applied here? Don't you think that Section 13 would be applied here? Answer is location of property does not important for deciding Section 12 or 13. What we are looking into? We are looking the location of supplier and location of recipient. Only two things we are looking into. If both are in India, then Section 12, whether underlying transaction, the property is outside India, doesn't matter. If the supplier and the recipient in India, suppose I am having the property at London and there is a supplier who is providing the interior decoration service for my London property. Supplier is located from Maharashtra and I am from Delhi. Properties in London, what would be the place of the supply? Recipient ka location. Okay. Where the C. Now, one important part that you know, but I'm repeating once again. Wherever there is an explanation of more than one state, then only you will apportion that service. It means, let's say you are providing the, let's say, sponsorship services and you're providing more than one state. Will you apportion that sponsorship services? Always, no. It will depend upon, it will depends upon whether the sponsorship services, if it is covered in 3 to 14, and having that explanation, then only you will apportion. Otherwise, you will not apportion, even though services are being given in more than one state. Like my property is on the border of UP and Bihar, is on the border of Delhi and Haryana. Some part are falling in Delhi, some part are falling in Haryana. Let's say I am constructing the road, which is national highway covering 3 states. In that case, my place of the supply, do we need to apportion? Now, because there is an explanation, answer is yes, I need to apportion. If it is in more than one state or UT, I will apportion according to the agreement. If the contract or agreement is there, then I will apportion according to the contract. If the contract is silent, in that case, I will apportion on some other basis as may be prescribed. Okay. The place of the supply, the restaurant and catering service, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, healthcare, etc., then shall be the location where the services are actually performed. Then place of the supply of the service. In case of the training and performance appraisal, if it is a registered person, then shall be location of that person. If it is an unregistered person, then where the services are actually performed. Now, admission to the event and organization to the event. If it is an admission to the event, which event? It can be cultural event, artistic event, sports event, scientific education event, or an amusement park or any other place shall be the place of where the event is actually held. Now, let's say one institute is conducting GST training. One institute is conducting GST training. Now, they are conducting the training in Maharashtra and the recipient is from Delhi. Registered as well as some recipient is from Delhi unregistered. If I will apply section, if this institute applies section 12 subsection 6, what would be the place of supply in both cases? What would be the POS in both cases? Because it is like an admission to the event, education event. Yes, it is an admission to the event. What would be the place of supply in that case? The place of the supply would be the location at which the event is actually held. So in this case, you can say the Maharashtra. But at the same time, you can say it is a training and performance appraisal. You can also classify in the 12.5. Is it not a training? Is it not a training? Yes, it is a training. You can classify the training. So if recipient is registered, then place of supply is Delhi. If recipient is unregistered, then Maharashtra. Got my point? This type of the explanation, you should be clear. Now, the 6 is the admission to the event. Now I'm talking about organization of an event. Now I'm talking about same event, cultural, sports, scientific, but this time I'm organizing that event. If I'm organizing that event, then what would be the place of the supply? Service ancillary to the organization of event. Then what would be the place of supply? If it is a registered person, location of that person. If it is an unregistered person, location of that event where it is actually held. Now the important part, if the event is held outside India, then what would be the place of supply? Shall be the location of recipient. Clear? This part, if something is outside India, then place of the supply will be LOR. Same things we have discussed in which category? Same provision we have discussed in the which category? Just now we have discussed. If something is outside India, then place of supply would be LOR. So I'm using the term LOR for location of recipient, LOS for location of supplier, and POS for place of supply. Immovable property, absolutely correct. Now, again, you see that because there is an explanation, I will apportion. If it is held in more than one state, where the event is actually held in more than one state, and consolidated amount is charged for that event. So I'm charging, let's say 10 lakh rupees for event conducted in 4 states. So what would be the place of supply in that case? Because there is an explanation, now I will apportion. In terms of contract, if contract is silent, then I will apportion on some other basis as may be prescribed. For that, you need to refer the rule. When you go to the rule 3 to rule 9, you will identify rule 3 to rule 9 IGST rule, you will identify that apportionment would happen only if the recipient is unregistered. If the recipient is registered, no problem. If the recipient is registered, no problem. Consolidated amount का place of supply भी location of recipient होगा. But अगर unregistered है, तभी तो हम place of supply क्या कहते हैं? Event is actually held. Now in this case, event is held in more than one state. तो इसीलिए अपोर्शन के लिए इसने B2C का लॉजिक अप्लाई किया. Are you getting my point? See, in case of B2B, is it matter कि कहाँ पे मेरा event हो रहा है? Is it differing where the event is actually held? No. It is always LOR. Therefore, there is no apportionment required if the event is held outside India. sorry, if the event is held in more than one state. So when it is required if the recipient is unregistered. 12 subsection 8, the place of the supply by way of transportation goods or by mail or courier by a registered person, LOR, unregistered person, then is it a picking location or is it a delivery location? Shall be the location at which goods are handed over to consumer to delivery for their transportation. It means it is picking location, not the delivery location. Same place of the supply of the passenger transportation services to a registered person. Then location of that person, unregistered person, where passenger embark on the conveyance for a continuous journey. So starting location. If it is a embarkation is not known, then place of the supply shall be determined in accordance with subsection 2. It means if it is a registered, location of that person. If it is unregistered and address is available, again location of recipient. If it is unregistered and address is also not available, then LOS. ठीक है, separate journey shall be treated as separate journey even if the right of onward and return is issued at the same time. ठीक है, and place of the supply for the service on the board a conveyance shall be the location of the first schedule point of the departure of that conveyance. First schedule point. Telecommunication services, and if it is a fixed telecommunication lease circuit, then where this particular dish antenna modem is installed. If it is a mobile connection and postpaid, then address would always be available. If it is prepaid, then divide. Whether it is sold through selling agent or reseller or distributor, then location of that person, and by any person to final subscriber, then be the location where the prepayment is received. And in other cases, agar recipient ka address is available, then that location of recipient, and if address is not available, then LOS, supplier ka location. Again, here they are saying if lease circuit is installed in more than one state, you will do the apportion. Apportion will always be in terms of the contract if they have specified something, and if they have not specified, in the absence of the contract, then you will refer the rule 3 to rule 9 of IGST for apportionment. In case of the banking company, financial services, stockbroking, then location of recipient on the record of the supplier, because record address would always be available. If not available, then suppose there is a walk-in customer and the banking company are providing the services, like we can prepare the DD. Walk-in customer can prepare the DD, demand draft. Okay. So service is not on the record, then place of the supply shall be the location of the supplier of service. The place of the supply of insurance service. Then to a registered person, so location of that person to a registered person. Insurance is the transaction where address would always be available with the insurance company. Correct. भले आप ₹1 की इंश्योरेंस लो, लेकिन आप एड्रेस जरूर प्रोवाइड कराओगे, name of the state, etc. So in that case, whether you are registered or unregistered, your address would always be available. So if you are registered, then location of that registered person. If you are unregistered, then address available in the record. And place of the supply in case of the advertisement, then it will be the place of the supply for advertisement to the central government for the state or duty identified in the contract shall be taken in each of the states. So he indirectly says that as per the contract, it will be decided. So it will be apportion. If there is no contract, then it will be apportion as per the rules. This is section 12. Okay, I'm going to section. Just wait for a minute. I do agree that there are a lot of circular, lot of clarification, but in the absence of time, we have not discussed. But yes, if you go to the regular classes, everything has been discussed in detail. Now we are talking about section 13. You will find all the provisions similar to that. Section 13 would be applied if any one party either supplier or recipient is located outside India. Means one party is in India, one party outside India. Okay. So one better part is that you will not find, like, if the recipient is registered, if the recipient is unregistered, you will not find this type of the provision, because one party would always be unregistered. If the recipient is located outside India, always unregistered. If the recipient is in India, then supplier would always be unregistered. So एक पार्टी हमेशा unregistered रहेगी. तो 13(2) में क्या है? Again, general principle. If your transaction is covered in 3 to 13, if your transaction is covered in 3 to 13, then place of supply shall be the location of recipient. Okay, provided location of recipient is not available, then the place of the supply will be location of supply. I'm just quickly completing because it is almost similar. If it is immovable property, then property is covered in subsection 4. Subsection 3 is talking about performance-based service. It can be performance-based service with respect to goods, or it can be performance-based service with respect to individuals. If it is with respect to goods, then the place of the supply would be the location at which goods are physically made available. So there is a computer shop in Delhi who also provide the repair services for computer, for mobile, for laptop, etc. Now let's say there is a Mr. John who is coming from out of India and his mobile is not working. He visited to that Delhi shop and repaired his mobile. So for that service, he has provided his mobile physically made available. So how the place of the supply would be determined by Delhi supplier? It will be determined according to the 13 subsection 3 clause A. Because it is physically made available, so location at which the goods are being physically handed over for rendering the services, that will be the location. That will be the place of supply. If it is rendered through electronic mean, sometime it is possible that that computer supplier, that repair service provider, he can access the laptop through electronic mean. So Mr. John is located in USA. He is in USA, but his computer is not working. His laptop is not working. He is approached to the Delhi person and they have taken the access through electronic mean. Then what will be the place of the supply? Goods are situated at the time of service. So that will be actual location of the goods. This time they have not handed over. Again, the location of the goods would be the place of supply. Now, very important. Temporary import care. If the goods are temporarily imported into India for repair, for any other treatment or process, and are exported after that repair, in that case, the place of the supply would be, in that case, what would be the place of supply? The place of the supply will not be decided by this clause. It will be decided by which clause? It will be decided by the normal clause, that is the location of recipient. Service with respect to individual. Then what would be the place of the supply? The which requires the physical presence. Let's say I'm providing the face-to-face training in Delhi. In that case, say suppose my client is located USA and USA person is sending the team in India. So it is a face-to-face training, or let's say there is a medical service taken by the USA person. He came to physically in India and taken the medical service, healthcare service. Then in that case, what would be the place of supply? The place of the supply will be the service supplied to an individual representing either as the recipient or as a person acting which require the physical presence. Then location of that person will be the जहाँ पे वो training दी है, जहाँ पे physical presence required है, shall be the location where the service are actually performed. ठीक है. One important point which I like to highlight that you might do, it might create some confusion. Suppose if I take the same example, let's say the supplier is in Delhi and the recipient is in UP. Supplier is providing the laptop repair services. The UP service recipient came to Delhi and done the repair. Then what would be the place of the supply? What would be the place of the supply? Will it be Delhi where the goods are physically made available, or will it be UP? If you go to the section 12, you will not find performance-based service with respect to goods. You will not find separate provisions. So it means general principle. What is the general principle? If the recipient is registered, then his location. If it is unregistered but address is available, then recipient location, place of supply. If it is not registered and also address not available, then supplier ka location. The place of the supply in relation to immovable property. In relation to immovable property, exactly same answer is what would be the place of the supply? Place of supply would be the property ka location. If it is admission and organization. So there are two different provisions, 12 subsection 6 and 12 subsection 7. Both are being combined here. And they are saying what would be the place of the supply? Very simple, where the event is actually held. In the subsection 6, you will find very interesting thing. They are saying subsection 3, performance-based service. Subsection 4, immovable property. Subsection 5, event, organization or admission. If these are supplied in more than one location, including taxable territory means India. So if these services are provided in more than one location, including India, then the place of the supply will be treated as India only. Okay. And what is the subsection 7? They are saying if within India it is provided in more than one state or union territory, then it will be apportioned as per the contract. If the contract is silent, go to the valuation, go to the place of supply rule, POS rule. Okay. Then the place of the supply for banking company, institution, account holder, intermediary, now consisting of hiring, then in that case, the place of the supply shall be the location of supply. Now try to understand. This is problematic clause and by which there is an amendment in the Finance Act 2026. अभी जो 3 दिन पहले बजट आया इसने clause B को delete किया. Not applicable for your exam, but I'm saying I'm interlinking so that you should be aware why it has been deleted. What is the problem? Example, I am commission agent of, let's say, Japan company. There's a Japan bike manufacturing company and I am commission agent. I'm promoting that sale. Okay. So I have done the sale in UK, USA of that Japanese company of motorbike. Okay. मैंने total sale किया 100 crore का and my commission is, let's say, 10 crore. I will raise the invoice to the Japanese company. So I am in India, I am supplier. I will raise my commission invoice to the Japanese company. Japanese company will pay in the foreign currency. I and that company is not related party. All the conditions are satisfied. But because of this clause 13 subsection 8 clause B, my place of supply become India. Why? It says that in case of the intermediary services, the place of the supply would be the location of, the place of the supply would be the location of supplier. In this case, because my place of the supply is India, so my transaction will not be treated as export. You got the problem? This was the problem by which it has been omitted. And if it is omitted, so it is not applicable for exam. We'll read whenever this Finance Act 26 would become effective and it will be implemented by the institute. So what is my important point? My important point, that provision is creating the problem because by this, the place of the supply become India and therefore it is not export. After deletion, my place of the supply would be governed by the basic principle, that is 13 subsection 2. And if it is determined according to the general principle, then if it is decided according to the general principle, then what? Then my place of the supply would be export. Place of the supply would be the recipient location, that is Japanese company. So my transaction become export and I would be entitled to take the refund or LUT route through. So okay. So 13.9, 13.10, 13.8, 13.9 has been omitted. Okay. That is also being omitted long back. The 13.10 is talking about passenger transportation service, where the passenger embark on the conveyance. 1311, it talks about the place of the supply on board a conveyance. Then first schedule point, exactly same. 1312, OIDAR, it is new. So if the transaction is OIDAR, online information database access retrieval, then what would be the place of the supply? The customer location, recipient location will be the place of supply. What is the problem? The problem is not in the provision. Problem is in the explanation. What is the problem? I'll give you one example. My recipient is Mr. John, who is actually located out of India. I am OIDAR company. Providing the service from India. I'm a supplier. And my recipient is outside India. But for the purpose of taking the service, he might be in India. So he is given the address. He might be used a debit card or credit card. He might be given the billing address of India. He might be used the IP address of India. So if in any of the clause, the two non-contradictory conditions are satisfied, then his actual location will be ignored and he will be deemed to be located in India. If he will deem to be located in India, then what is the place of supply? The place of supply will be, if he will be deemed to be located in India, then what will be the place of the supply? The place of the supply will be location of recipient, and that is India. And because it is India, it will not be treated as export. Is that clear? So it is not work like always in India or always outside India. No, you have to satisfy the conditions. So the problem is in clause A to clause F, if clause G, any two conditions are satisfied, then that particular recipient will be deemed to be located in the taxable territory, that is India. I hope it is clear. Last, in order to prevent double taxation or to avoid non-taxation or uniform application of rule, government have the power to notify any description of service in which the place of the supply shall be the effective use and enjoyment. So they have used the power. They've used the power of 1313 and they've clarified. They've issued the notification. Like I'm giving you one category: maintenance, repair, and overall services. I'll explain with the help of example. So I am providing the maintenance service to the international aircraft. Okay. So I am located in Delhi. Let's say I have the contract with British Airlines. When the British airline company aircraft land in Delhi, my team will provide the repair services, and for which I will raise the invoice. Is it not with respect? Is it not performance-based service with respect to goods? Can't I say that it is performance-based service with respect to goods? एयरक्राफ्ट गुड्स है, जब एयरक्राफ्ट इंडिया में आया तभी तो मैंने सर्विस दी. आई हैव गिवन द सर्विस इन दिल्ली व्हेन फिजिकली इट वाज अवेलेबल. द आंसर इज यस. देन व्हाट वुड बी द प्लेस ऑफ द सप्लाई? द प्लेस ऑफ द सप्लाई वुड बी दिल्ली. Will it be export? Answer is no. Why? For export, POS should be outside India. For export, place of the supply should be outside India. Considering that they have used the power of 1313 and they are saying in case of maintenance, repair, and overall service with respect to aircraft, with respect to ship, with respect to vessel, the place of the supply will be location of recipient, not the performance. So by this, the place of the supply will become outside India. Let me see if I have something, if I have left. There are a lot of clarification. I would suggest you kindly read that clarification. So interested supply का definition, ठीक analysis. Let's read interstate supply, intrastate supply. What is that? Interstate supply means when the location of supplier and the location of recipient. No. If the location of supplier and place of the supply both are in two different states, in two different UT or one state, one UT, then it will be treated as interstate supply of the goods. Then if the supply of goods imported into the territory of India till they cross shall be treated as interstate. Now, same thing for they are saying services and same thing they are saying for import of services. Now the subsection 5 says that these clause A, clause B, clause C will always be treated as inter. First, if the supplier is in India and place of the supply is outside India, will this transaction be always export? No. Kyun? There are various conditions. There are total 5 conditions for export of service, I'm saying. So it means, let's say the supplier is in India, place of supply is outside India, but amount is not coming in foreign currency. Will it be export? No. But it will be interstate. When you are making the supply to SEZ unit, यहाँ पे दोनों word important है, to and by both are covered. It means if you are making the supply to SEZ or you are purchasing from SEZ, in both cases, always IGST. And third is the transaction is in the taxable territory. The transaction is in taxable territory, not being intra and not covered elsewhere. So residuary entry. Residual clause होता ना, जैसे something it is not covered, then also it will be treated as inter. ठीक है. Then same intra. They are saying if supplier ka location and POS both are in the same state, same unit, it will be intra. Again, the proviso says that if you are making the supply to SEZ unit, even if it is within the state, then also it will be intra. No, it will be inter. It will not be intra. Proviso says that following will not be treated as intra. If I'm doing the transaction with SEZ, if I am importing, and third is if I am doing the transaction with the tourist referred to in section 50. Same provision for services. Now, explanation 1 and explanation 2. I will not read now. I will use this in the import export chapter. Very important relevance. And there is a circular which linked with the definition, with the explanation and explain the concept of export import. So I will use this at the time of export import chapter. I hope it is clear. Then section 9, supply in the territorial water. When the location of the supplier is in the territorial water and place of the supply is in the territorial water shall for the purpose be deemed to be the coastal state or UT where the nearest point of the appropriate baseline is located. So we have completed section 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So I hope one part is clear to you. One point I like to explain that in the place of the supply chapter, we are talking about the provisions of IGST Act only. This is the only chapter where we are discussing the place of the supply, where we are discussing the provision with respect to IGST. Otherwise, normally we are reading the CGST and SGST. ठीक है. हर जगह हम CGST एक्ट की बात करते हैं, लेकिन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई में हम specifically we are talking about IGST Act. Now let's talk about, we have completed 3 chapters, 1-2 question from each chapter. 1-2 question from each chapter. Okay. If I am importing the services from unrelated party and there is a consideration, will it be a supply? And if there is no consideration, then will it be a supply? If there is no consideration and I am importing the service from unrelated party, will that be a supply? Answer is no. Absolutely correct. So in case of the composite supply, if the price is single, can it also be treated as composite supply? If the price is single, can also be treated as composite supply if all other conditions are satisfied? Answer is yes. Answer is yes, it can be. In case of reverse charge I'm talking about, if the GTA provide the service to the factory, unregistered factory, and GTA is registered, factory is not registered, and GTA has not opted forward charge, will the RCM be applicable? Will the RCM be applicable? Answer is yes, it will be applicable. If GTA has opted forward charge, and can he charge 5% and 12 or 18 at the same time, or only one rate can be charged under the forward charge? Can he charge both the rate or only one rate? It is the choice of the GTA. No, Geeta. Again, I'm repeating. It is the choice of the GTA that I've explained. He can charge 5 to some customer. He can charge 12 to some customer. Only point which comes. What will be the compliance will come? What is the problem? Only proportionate reversal of ITC question will come. Only proportionate reversal of ITC will come, but otherwise, the GTA can charge 5 and 12 under the forward charge. No problem. But he can't do, or he can do RCM and FCM both at the same time. Can he charge under forward charge and can he opt RCM at the same time? Answer is no. Anyone. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So if I'm a director getting the remuneration on which TDS is deducted under section 192, I am which director? Independent director. I am independent director getting the remuneration on which TDS is being deducted under section 192, let's say, will the RCM be applicable on the company? I am independent director. Then RCM would be independent director. As per Companies Act, independent director cannot be the employee. Therefore, RCM would be applicable. Tell me two category. Tell me two category in which if the recipient is composition, no RCM. Tell me two category in which if the recipient is composition, then no RCM. Absolutely correct. One is security and another is renting of immovable property. If the service, security and renting of immovable property, bilkul, absolutely correct. In case of intermediary service, if the supplier is in India, will it be export? Will it be export of service? In case of intermediary, if the supplier is in India, then place of the supplies also become India, even though all conditions are satisfied. But it will not be export because place of the supply is in India. Now, performance-based service with respect to goods. If both parties are in India, what would be your answer? What would be the place of the supply? Both parties in India. So what would be your answer? LOR, location of recipient, yeah, place of performance. In section 12, performance-based service with respect to goods. Default provision. Absolutely correct, because there is no specific provision with respect to performance-based goods in section 12. In section 13, we know that performance-based services with respect to goods or with respect to individuals are separately covered. But I can say there, if I am temporarily imported into India for job work, for any repair services, and then exported again, what would be the place of the supply? Will it be the place of the performance or will it be the default provision? The answer is default provisions. Default provision, because it says that place of the performance will not be applicable in this proviso. So they have written proviso. It says that nothing contained in this section shall apply. It means the 13 subsection 3 will not apply in this case, in case of temporarily imported. Okay. So any other point? Any other point which you like to discuss? So I would suggest कि always come regularly. So there are few classes revision. तो आप आइएगा. So by which you will try to understand something. Any last question for the day? Schedule 3, impact of Schedule 3 on reversal of IT. On which entry? Schedule 3 has, कौन सी entry of Schedule 3 has the impact on reversal of ITC? There are two entries we have discussed that it impact the reversal of ITC. Can you please tell me the two entries? Is absolutely correct. Sale of land and completed building and sale of warehouse goods before filing the entry for home consumptions. So that is also not taxable, para 8A, but it impacts the reversal of ITC. So thank you very much. From my side, it's done. If you have any question, you can ask in or kindly read. If you have doubt, we will discuss in the next class. अशोक जी, मेरी तरफ से आज की क्लास कंप्लीट है जी, ओवर. थैंक यू.